Bienvenidos al primer video de AP en los temas de AP. Hoy vamos a hablar de la narración y la descripción en el pasado. This is one of the key things that you guys are going to have to know about and a skill that you're going to need as we move along. We'll talk about how to narrate in the past, be able to describe, and talk about your life and other events that have happened in the past. You kind of got a little bit of a taste of sometimes how difficult it is when you are talking about it and doing this with our Google Voice assignment. It's hard to put all the pieces together. What we want to do is go through and practice and focus on all the skills, and we're going to talk about layering and getting good with each piece of layer. So here we go. Aquí está un trozo, un poco de un cuento. What I want you guys to do is I want you to go through and I want you on a sheet of paper, just write down as many uses of the preterite as you can find. Okay? So we'll give you about a minute and a half. Muy bien. Hopefully you've gotten some good, you found some of the uses of the preterite. We're going to take a look at these uses here. Alright, let's see how we did here. Sobre lo que hicieron. Y Delia pensó que hiciste. Te busqué en el auditorio, no te encontré. No fui. A ver, llegué. Me llamo. Decidí. Te perdiste. Hizo. Fue. Divertí. Pude. Regresó. Pasó. Le dije. Se hizo. Y escribió y pasó. Muy bien. Hopefully you picked up all of those, or at least as many as you can. This isn't going to talk too much about, we're not going to talk today too much about the uses and the formations, but we're going to talk about usage and how we can narrate well in the past. The image that we're going to go with is when we're narrating the past, again, just so you don't get overwhelmed, is the idea of un sándwich. Okay, you got tu pan, tienes tu pan, but the first part to make a decent sandwich, I love some jamón or some ham. So we're going to think about the preterite. That's kind of the backbone. You can have a ham sandwich, just ham. Life is all good. Alright, so we're going to think of el preterito as the ham. First use we're going to take a look at is un o más que uno, acción completed. Okay, so we're looking for a completed action in the past. And the way that I like to look at this is you have aquí está hoy y tienes una que empieza, so you got an action that starts at one point in the past and it ends at one point in the past, and we know that it ends. Okay, so we know the ending. So if we say Felipe limpió su cuarto ayer, okay, so we say Felipe limpió su cuarto ayer. So we know that he started cleaning his room and he ended cleaning his room. If we say yo tuve 2 meses de vacaciones el año pasado, okay, that means I had 2 months of vacation last year. It's pretty good. Okay, but again, we know that the vacation started at one point and ended at another. El segundo es the beginning or end in the past. So what we're taking a look at is we've got hoy. And we're looking at right here. So we got hoy here, and our action is going to start right over here. Okay? So we could say empezó a llover. So what we got here is we're going to get empezó a llover. La lluvia está aquí. So it happened right then. And it's something that happened at a specific point in time. This is the idea here that I like to use of being a... This is my news camera. Okay, so if we've got a newscast and the camera's taking the pictures, okay, it's something that you'd see on a newscast. Now let's take a look at some words that, 4 verbs that you know what they mean in English in the present tense, but they have a little bit different meaning when you get to the past tense. So, first of all, we've got saber, which we know to know is the present, but found out, which is something that you're really going to want to use. So for example, Pedro supo que había pasado. He found out. Okay? So instead of saying he knew, which is something that you would think of it being in the past tense, he found out. So at the point of finding out. El otro is to know. So if you're acquainted with somebody, you know, if I know Michael Jordan, I'd say, oh, I know him. But if we are talking in the past with the preterite, they met for the first time. Yo conocí a ella. So I met him for the first time last night. So this is a point in time. Okay, so what these are going to do is give you a chance to talk about and be more descriptive in what you're using. So you need to make sure that you're careful when you're using these and that you remember that it's found out and met. Okay, so those are some good examples of saber y conocer. El segundo grupo de palabras que tenemos, the second group that we have, is poder and querer. So we all know that poder is something that we use a lot, and it's to be able to, but in the past we're going to say you succeeded in or managed to do something. Ellos ayer no pudieron llegar a tiempo. They did not manage to arrive on time. Which hopefully we're not going to have an issue with that in our AP class, because I want you for as much as we can. Okay, and then also querer is to want. I want to go somewhere. In the preterite, the the positive preterite, the affirmative preterite, it's tried. So, Carolina quiso ir conmigo. She tried to go with me. Okay, we don't know if it actually happened, but she tried. And Eduardo, in the negative, refused. No quiso ir conmigo. So it's a little bit stronger than didn't want to, which you would think would be in the past. So he refused to do this. So this is using a little bit stronger language with this. So let's take a look. We got vamos a ver. Tenemos poder. Okay, and succeeded or managed to. And tenemos en querer, tried, quiso ir, y el negativo es más fuerte. So, he refused to do it in the past. So, esto es querer. So we've got our ham. We can have a ham sandwich, but we want to have our cheese, our queso. And in this, tenemos expresiones. Okay, and our expresiones o transiciones. Okay, and what these do is make you sound more like a native speaker. And we're going to give you some tools. So we've got our toolbox. And so unas herramientas. That's supposed to be a hammer. All right. One of the big things that we can see from this to add our queso, this is one of the things we're going to take a look at with your Google Voice, is knowing these phrases makes it go a lot smoother. And this is the difference between a lower level speaker and a higher level. And this is talking about your organization of both your speaking and your written. So, some of you may know and used, I know some of you used in your Google Voice, ayer, el otro día, una vez, anoche. So, some of these you've already used, but what you want to do is get to know these. Okay, one of the ones that you have is anteayer, which is the day before yesterday. Okay, de repente, suddenly. So that makes your story a lot more exciting. Y por fin, which is finally. Okay? Un día, una noche, la semana pasada. Some of these are, basics, but these are the ones like de repente, y por fin. De repente, again, we talked about is suddenly. And this is injecting emotion into your stories. Okay, so you're not just giving a newscast. You're actually injecting some emotion into it. All right, so if you have any questions, just let me know. This is the first part. We'll take a look at the imperfect, el imperfecto, próximo. Okay? And again, these are just your tools, and this is making it go much smoother. So you want to make sure that you have these and that you know what these are. Okay? Muy bien. Ahora escribe un cuento con 6 de las frases de arriba y 5 transiciones. Escríbelo para la clase.